All right, so witchcraft and misfortune. Hold on a second here. We're rolling in toward the end. Witchcraft is a pervasive system. It's talked about in common conversation by the young, by the old. Evans Pritchard said he was able to figure it out pretty quickly because it was just such a common thing. They wouldn't describe, like, you couldn't say, what is witchcraft? They'd be like, what are you talking about? Or to explain a whole system, how it works, how it operates. They wouldn't have any of that. It's just a thing. It's sort of like in India, if you're a Hindu, for instance, you're living in a Hindu area, you don't think of yourself as a Hindu. You just think of, this is how I live. This is my whole system. I go to the temple every day. I do these specific rituals. This is just what I do. I don't think of these things as religion. They're just a part of life. It takes a scholar wandering by to say, oh no, that's religion. One famous professor of religious studies, the great J.Z. Smith, who I've mentioned before, said that there is no such thing as religion. Religion is the product of a scholar's mind sitting in his office thinking, because we don't have a category of religion. We just have stuff we do. Now, in the United States, we think about the different poles of secular and religious, religious and non-religious, but in reality, worldwide, people don't think about that. It takes somebody looking at a culture and trying to extract parts to separate out religion from common life, and that's where you start seeing people able to observe religion. All right. In the Azandi culture, witchcraft is that second spear, the causation. Witchcraft is the causation. So a material thing happens, you get hit by a car, but the witchcraft explains how you were at the very right spot, and that other car was at the very right spot for them to come together at the exact same time in order for the injury to occur. I was just in a really terrible accident really recently, and I've thought about this a lot. How was I able to be on the road at that exact same time, and the guy that hit and ran me at the exact same time, and then come through the intersection at the exact same time for that to happen? I could have turned right. I probably should have turned right because I was getting kind of lost going where I was going. And that guy could have stopped and not blown through, taking a left on green. What is it that made that specific thing happen? Witchcraft. All right, so witchcraft is that second spear, which I was saying before. It's the causation behind the material events. So he writes, Evans Pritchard writes about an informant who accidentally lights his beer hut that he's very proud of on fire. And he's like, it's witchcraft. And Evans Pritchard was like, no, you set it on fire because you were in there in the dark. You set a thing on flame to check on something. You set the thatch on fire. He's like, no, witchcraft. Why was it witchcraft? Because he had gone that one particular night and not another night, and then he had held that burning clump at just the right angle instead of holding it low to set it on fire. The material thing of burning the hut down is real, but it was the witchcraft that caused it to really happen. Or you have a potter who is very skilled usually, but he sees his pot explodes in the kiln when he's firing it. But he looks and he sees that there's a little pebble that he didn't get out of the clay. You go, that's not witchcraft. That's just I screwed up. But when a skilled artisan has a project that fails despite perfect technique, that is witchcraft. Witchcraft is almost like a catalyzing element in a long chains of causation. And another example, Evans Pritchard says, a man kills himself, and it's said that he died by witchcraft. Sure, it's suicide. He actually killed himself, but the witchery accounts for it. See, he would have recovered from any pains or illnesses or tribulations or adulteries. He would have been fine with the sadness. He would have got better. But the witchery, the witchcraft made it lethal. So on page 24, witchcraft explains why events are harmful to man, not how they happen. So where do you find witches? Well, you seek them. Well, they're all around you. You're looking for your enemies that are close. This is a system in which people are living very much enmeshed, all up in everybody's business. It'd be a community. I mean, they're all the same tribesmen, but you'd have like 6 families living together. And then like from a distance, there'd be other groups that are all ruled over by the prince. So people know each other pretty well. Proper vengeance for witchcraft is required if it is lethal. And this is usually carried out by a ruling prince after extensive consultation with the oracles. So on the occasion that a witch is killed for being a witch, which hasn't happened in a very, very long time, it would be because there was extensive investigation. There's a greater, clearer system for addressing witchcraft. First off, a person may go up to another person and say, hey, back off, witch. And for the most part, they don't like have a direct intervention. They can make an open statement that this person I accuse is doing witchcraft against me. I ask that they stop, but there's no like big open quarrel between them. Now, if the witchcraft continues, then there's another element. This whole system that we described is going to put the witch in a good and gracious mood. So you're saying this person has done witchcraft to me. That means they hate me. That means they're jealous of me. So one of the first things you do is you make them feel better and you give them a way to express that they might have been hatred, but they're gonna let it all go. This creates social cohesion. So in another system, we have the poison oracle and blowing water that I talked about. So a poison oracle involves giving a specific amount of poison to a bird and asking the oracle of the poison if a specific person is a witch. If the bird dies, it's true. If the bird doesn't die, it's not. If the bird dies, then they know who the witch is, and they kill the bird. The bird is already dead. They cut the wing off the bird, and then they find somebody, some emissary, to take that wing of the bird over to the accused witch and say, hey, you're accused of witchcraft. And the accused, and this is considered very good manners, will graciously say, oh my goodness, let me put water in my mouth and spit it all over the place and say, I didn't know I was doing witchcraft. Whatever witchcraft that I have committed, even unintentionally, let it be cooled. Let it be cooled. Let everybody be cool. So they do that. They blow the water over the wing. It's thought that the witchery has gone into the wing, then it's blown out through the blowing of the water. It's a pretty cool system. So, like I'd said before, there might be an initial declaration that a person is a witch, asking them to voluntarily, before the oracle and before the wing and whatnot, that they actively, like, formally just blow the water in the first place and call it good. But if the witchcraft continues, then you have to go with the oracle in this way. Remember that all of this is happening in a smallish encampment of a few families united in a common tribe. Should that public declaration not be effective and the witchcraft continues, then they must proceed to convince the witch to blow water. But all of these people are enmeshed. All of this is a web of social interactions, and witchcraft comes in as a way to explain and also to mediate social tensions.